Decorated army generals falling from grace in connection with racy scandals is becoming an alarming trend in Washington. The career of the current commander in Afghanistan is now in jeopardy after he became entangled in the case that led to the resignation of CIA Chief David Petraeus. Petraeus had to quit after revelations of an affair with his biographer. They emerged as a result of a probe launched after complaints by a Florida socialite who received many emails she said amounted to harassment. Now, General Allen, who succeeded Petraeus in Afghanistan, is also under investigation over inappropriate communications with the very woman who started it all. Let's discuss the implications of this now with Dr. Sreeram Chaulia from the Jindal School of International Affairs, live for us in India. A great pleasure to see you here on RT today, sir. The careers of some of America's most celebrated military leaders, McChrystal, Petraeus, Allen, all once commanders in Afghanistan, appear to be toppling one by one. Would you call this a coincidence, or...?
You know, you also have to add McKiernan, who was also asked to leave earlier. So this is actually the fourth general who was commanded Afghanistan, and I think I am told that now there is the so-called commander's curse. But if you think about it, you know, a long, drawn-out war that has gone nowhere is bound to lead to these kind of, so-called personal scandals. I don't see these as personal. I mean, there's clearly, a political impact, if not a motive, when these things happen, because the public figures commanding tens of thousands of troops in, a desultory war that's going nowhere. I'm just reminded of, Lincoln and Roosevelt. I mean, they were in major wars and they fired 6, 7 generals each. And, those days seems to have come back in a big way and biting the United States. You have to look at it in the perspective of long wars and the stress of command and of failure and of cover-up. This definitely has implications for the war that's going on there, as well as the incident in Libya when the U.S. ambassador was killed recently. All of these are connected, and the timing. There's also institutional rivalry, quite a few angles.
Dr. Chaulia, I mean, you raise a good point. Let's just jump in for a moment here. You do raise a good point about the ongoing war on terror in Afghanistan. And many people out there, they do call Afghanistan the graveyard of empires. And is the war on terror succeeding? Has the Taliban retaken Afghanistan? Where is Al-Qaeda? Are they now in Pakistan? The thing is, we have these men who have all received praise for their military strategies. And yet now we see the generals being punished, not for professional blunders, but for adultery. Is it because people, particularly in the West, enjoy a sexy, juicy sex scandal, or is there something more to it than that?
Well, Paula Broadwell's father is saying that this is about something else altogether. And there is a belief among many people, and I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. It's clearly, the timing is quite suspicious. The fact that General Petraeus is supposed to have testified on what was happening in Benghazi on the night when the U.S. ambassador was killed. Clearly, Paul Broadwell is supposed to have said that she was privy to private information that the CIA was holding some militia members as prisoners close to where the U.S. ambassador was killed in Benghazi. And is this whole, attempt to, paper over it, because now Petraeus cannot testify apparently, and his second in command who's taken over is going to testify. That is one. The war in Afghanistan, definitely. I think the times are different, Rory. I mean, we are in a time where, the military has been glorified so much by both the parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, over the last, 12 years of war, that it's hard for them to openly, pinpoint fingers and say that, look, we've messed up and we've made mistakes.
But Dr. Chaulia, I mean, regardless of sex scandals and now all these Chinese whispers going around and around and around, many saying this could be just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to Petraeus' downfall, the potential John Allen's downfall, as you were saying, McKiernan earlier as well here on the programme. There does seem to be a growing feeling that perhaps extramarital affairs just really are the tip of the iceberg here. But is it possible that it makes for a useful distraction for the U.S. public that's been supporting this U.S. war on terror now for a decade and plus? Is it possible that it's a juicy distraction? Otherwise, what's the point in covering all this network airtime about some guys who had affairs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure these kind of transgressions happen on a much larger scale than get reported. But the role of the FBI, has been pretty suspicious. I mean, in fact, Leon Panetta is on record saying that the FBI should have informed the House, the Congress much earlier. And what kind of eggs were they grinding? Were they trying to expose the CIA? There is clearly this institutional rivalry which has a long history. And the public opinion, I think, the administration needs to turn as Obama said at his victory on re-election day, that we are going to end a decade or long of war. How are we going to end it unless some generals are smeared? I don't know. I mean, we need to explore how the public relations disaster that's happening right now and unraveling is related to the larger political issue about the disasters of these wars and the recriminations that are bound to occur at the end of every major war like this, which did not yield anything in the form of victory or a concrete outcome for the United States.
All right, Dr. Sreeram Chaulia, Professor and Dean of the Jindal School of International Affairs, live for us in India. Thanks for coming on the program today.